Hi, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney based in Washington, D.C. Our clients are all over the country. I'm here live to just talk about immigration, provide some options for folks that might be undocumented, that are nervous about their status in the U.S., that might be interested in applying for a green card, if possible, or receiving work authorization. So we're here to provide information. I answer some questions, I answer some questions if you have them, so please feel free to put them in the chat. Just as a heads up, everything we discuss is general. We're not providing confidential information about your specific case because I don't know your immigration history. So what I will give you is general information based on just the limited information I can see when you put your questions into the chat, but I want to talk to you about the things that might be concerning you. If you have an application filed and you have questions, of course, go to your own attorney if you're using one, but I can give you information generally here. Again, we're based in Washington, D.C. My clients are all over the country. I just traveled up to New York from Washington for a USCIS interview. We travel across the country to appear in person when necessary, but we're happy to chat with you about any kind of immigration questions. So I want to start off today with our question of the day. Our question of the day is something that comes up often that I think will be helpful to you. And reminder to share this post with others and like us and follow us. I'm going to come on about once a week or so to answer some of your questions. So feel free to follow us, like us, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok right now. So you'll see me kind of bopping around answering questions from whichever platform folks are on. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Augie. Good morning, Aiden. Nice to see you all. So let's go ahead and get started. So our question of the day today is, what happens if my abusive spouse loses their green card or their citizenship status? Can I still qualify for a VAWA? Right, so that question is, what if my abuser loses their green card or citizenship status? Can I still qualify for a VAWA? So remember, a VAWA is a self-petition. It's an option for people. In our firm, we represent spousal VAWAs more often than any other types of VAWA. So for our clients, it's an option when they're married to someone who is abusive to them. This person happens to be a green card holder or a US citizen, right? And they can apply for their green card on their own confidentially without the involvement of their spouse. So this is something that most people haven't heard about. Most people don't realize that it is an option for them. So what we're doing here is providing information about that. In some rare cases, the abuser. So if your spouse is abusive, they were a green card holder, they had U.S. citizenship, maybe they lose their green card status or they lose their status somehow. So this can happen. Let's say if you were living in the U.S. with your spouse, they're abusive, and then they left the U.S. and abandoned their green card status. So we've seen this happen in a few cases. If you were abused in the U.S., the question then becomes, can you still qualify for an option such as VAWA? So the answer is, in some cases, right? So as long as the abuser was a green card holder or a US citizen at the time of the abuse, if you live together in the US, it was a real marriage, not just for immigration purposes, even if they later lose their status, that you could still potentially qualify for VAWA if you meet all the other requirements. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So that is still an option. So it's something to consider. So right now we are actually offering absolutely free case evaluations to see if you are eligible for a VAWA self-petition. We'll talk to you specifically about your immigration history. We will talk to you about the requirements of VAWA, determine whether or not you are eligible. We'll just be asking questions. No need to bring any documents or anything to this meeting. We're doing these by phone or by Zoom. Zoom is going to kind of be like this. If you enjoy listening to me like this, if you're okay with having a one-on-one conversation such as this, feel free to reach out to our firm. You can call us at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663 to schedule a completely free case evaluation to determine if you might be eligible for a VAWA self-petition. Remember, a lot of folks that are eligible for a VAWA self-petition are also eligible for a green card, right? So you can apply if you're already in the United States and you qualify, you may be able to apply for a green card at the same time as your VAWA petition, right? So what does that mean? That means that you will be eligible for work authorization in about 7 months, a social security number if you don't already have one, also travel authorization, although I'm recommending that nobody travel if you're applying for advanced parole. It's just in case of emergencies. It's free with the application, so we go ahead and apply for it just in case of an emergency. But in this administration, at this time, we do not recommend travel for anyone that has advanced parole travel authorization, right? If that's the only way you're able to return back into the U.S., we would highly recommend to wait until you have your green card in order to travel. Okay, hope this was helpful to you. My name again is Pratibha Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney. You can reach our firm at 703-348-1663. We are based in Washington, D.C. Our clients are all over the United States. Some of them are even outside the United States. We help with all types of applications. If you have questions on other types of applications, I'm happy to answer them for you. We are here to talk specifically on humanitarian options, right? We want to provide information for folks that are not in status currently, that are very afraid. They're even afraid to leave their homes or go grocery shopping because they're afraid of being detained by ICE, right? And that is a very real and legitimate fear if you are undocumented here in the US. But one of the things you should know is that it might be possible for you to apply for a humanitarian visa, right? So we have VAWA, which is a green card petition for a green card. We have T visas, we have U visas. So these are all options if you are eligible. So it's something to think about. Our firm is offering absolutely free case evaluations on these humanitarian cases, right? So you can reach us at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. We have this awesome team that works on all types of cases. We are very experienced with humanitarian options, and we want to let you know, right? At least give you the information whether or not you are eligible for a humanitarian option. It's just something to think about. There's no obligation, but this is information for you, for our community, to see if you can get in status, to see if you can have that work authorization, to see if you can apply for a social security number, which will change your life. It will change your next generation's life as well. Hello, Mijgan. Nice to see you. Hi, Muskan. Hi, Moni. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Hi, Samuel. I have a question here that says, hi, lawyer. Good morning. In June 2025, I had a biometrics appointment. Excuse me. Let me read that again. This is from YouTube. Samuel, thank you for your question. The question is, hi. I have a VAWA approved in June of 2025. I have a biometrics in September of 2025 and one more in January of 2026. Is this normal? They took only photo and signature. That is a great question. Congratulations on your VAWA approval. That is amazing news. And this suggests that you're on your way, hopefully, to a green card, right? If you're eligible for a green card, hopefully you apply for a VAWA and a green card at the same time. You're asking if having a couple of biometrics conducted is normal. So sometimes they have you come back if they couldn't actually pick up your biometrics on the first round. So if they did it in September of 2025, maybe there was something wrong with the machine, maybe there was an error, right? And they might be having you come back in January of 2026. So sometimes people's fingerprints are hard to obtain. So maybe they're doing that again. They also changed the policy recently on whether we can use passport photos that are sent in by the client. So for you, it could be that they want an updated photo, that maybe they only had the photo that you previously provided. That might not be it, because hopefully they captured the picture in September of 2025, but it could just be a minor error. I wouldn't worry about anything right now. you have an approved VAWA, which is fantastic. If everything was truthful in your application, awesome. If you needed a waiver, you filed for that waiver, fantastic. So we would expect everything to progress pretty smoothly. This alone doesn't really cause me concern, but it is not necessarily in the standard process of things that occur. We usually only have clients do biometrics once. If it's been a really long time, perhaps twice, but for the most part, it's not usually required more than once. But keep your biometrics appointment. We already have the approved VAWA, so congratulations, and hopefully it will be smooth sailing from there. Okay, again, my name is Pratibha Agarwal. You can reach our firm, schedule an absolutely free case evaluation for qualifying cases. These are only the humanitarian cases, so VAWA, T, and U visas. You can reach us at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. We are in Washington, D.C. We help clients all over the United States. We work with all types of applications. So we're one of the only firms that does a significant amount of humanitarian work, but we also have a lot of very high profile business clients as well. We are able to provide this white glove service, and this is our goal, to provide this high level of service to any case, no matter if it's a corporate client or if it's someone seeking a humanitarian option. We know that each case really does change the lives of the people that we are applying on behalf of, and we want to honor that and treat you with complete red carpet service from the moment that you give us a call to schedule. So you can do that, 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. We have a team on standby waiting to take your phone calls to help you get on our schedule. And we would love to talk with you confidentially about your case. Obviously, there is no obligation whatsoever, but this is an option for you to find out if you are eligible for a humanitarian option, right? If you are eligible for a humanitarian option. Okay. I have some other questions here. Can I have a baby with my boyfriend after I filed a VAWA? So can I have a baby with my boyfriend after I filed a VAWA? So if you filed a VAWA and everything is truthful in your application, so that means that you were married to a US citizen or a green card holder, that you lived with them for whatever period of time, that you were in a real marriage, that it wasn't just for immigration purposes, right? And there was abuse. There was actual abuse in your marriage. So this abuse can take many forms. It can be psychological. It can be financial. It can be physical abuse, right? That lots of different types of abuse altogether are taken into account to determine if you were abused for purposes of VAWA. So all of these types of abuses count. If everything was truthful, Sokna, in your application, having a baby doesn't, with your current boyfriend, I'm assuming he's not the abuser, right? Having a baby with someone else after you file the VAWA isn't necessarily going to automatically disqualify you from a VAWA. But if you were in a relationship with this person, perhaps during the marriage, perhaps when you were supposed to be living with your abusive spouse, it could look like, to USCIS, I'm not saying that it does, but it could look like perhaps the marriage was not real, that it wasn't just that it may have been just for immigration purposes. So you do really need to bolster that up. If you have other kids with the abuser, that might be helpful evidence in determining that you did enter into the marriage in good faith. So it's all taken, like all of the facts are taken into account together. The very, very most important thing that everyone should be aware of is be truthful in your application. Do not try to fool the government. Be truthful in your application, right? Applications that have truthful facts will help you be consistent when you're in your interview with USCIS. So do not lie to the government. Okay, we want you to qualify for a VAWA and a green card in the right way. Be truthful in your applications. Okay, do not get married just for immigration purposes. It is detrimental to you having any other kind of status. So again, there are waivers available if something happened in the past. Perhaps you entered with someone else's identification or a green card. Perhaps you had some other misrepresentation on your application, whether intentional or not, right? There are some waivers available for this. So keep that in mind. But what is really important, any application you file with the government, be truthful, right? Be truthful. We want to do things the right way. We don't want to go into getting a green card and then applying for citizenship, worrying that you might feel scared that you will get discovered. But that's not something we want. We want to file truthful applications where you are clearly and truthfully eligible for that benefit. Okay? Call us if we can help you. 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agrawal. I am an immigration attorney based in Washington, D.C. We have clients all over the country. All over the country. We work with them on all types of applications. Today, and the times that I come on live on all these channels, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, we are here to provide information to our community about various options for those that might be in the US and undocumented, right? You are not without options many times. So think about it, give us a call. We can talk to you about your experience. No documents are required. And we're happy to talk to you about whether or not there are some options that you might be eligible for to help you get status, to help you obtain a visa and apply for a green card eventually, right? A lot of these humanitarian paths are so important because once you're approved, often you can apply for a green card the same time as that application if you're eligible, or you can apply after that application is approved. It's a pathway to a green card. So they're very, very important to establish permanent residency in the US and change your life and change the life of your future generations. It's not just you. Think about your kids and your family. And once you become a US citizen, or perhaps even a green card holder, you may be eligible to sponsor family members to come and join you here in the United States. So this is very important for people that are eligible. Okay, you can reach us to schedule a consultation, 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agrawal, again, immigration attorney in Washington, D.C. Jazika says, amazing lawyer, thank you for helping us. Absolutely, I hope that the information that we're providing here is helpful. Again, put your questions in. If you have them, what I'm providing is information, not specific to your case. So I would highly encourage you to call our office, have a confidential consultation with us so we can talk to you about your immigration history, your experiences, to see if you might qualify for VAWA or any other humanitarian option. Okay, we want to get, if you're undocumented, we know that it can be very, very difficult. We work with a lot of undocumented clients, but there may be options for you, and it's something that it doesn't hurt to find out, right? 703-348-1663. We help clients all over the United States. If you want to hang out with us more and make sure you're notified when I'm on live, please make sure to follow us, like us. So we are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You'll have lots of information, not just when I go live, but we're putting out other content as well to give you information about humanitarian options, about all things immigration. So make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. It can be very, very helpful to at least be knowledgeable about your rights and options that are available to you. But if you would like to give us a call now, you can do that, 703-348-1663. I'm Pratibha Agrawal again. And another reminder to share this with others that you think will find this helpful, right? Share this with others that want to be part of this immigration conversation where they can also learn about potential options for them. They can get to know us and the firm. I know calling a lawyer sometimes feels like a very big step, but it is sometimes necessary to obtain status in the US, okay? To help understand your eligibility, to help understand the process, the timing, and everything else involved. And there are times, I'm going to tell you, I talk to people and I let them know based on what they're telling me that they're not going to get approved, right? That we don't want to take their money and apply for something that is not strong, that they may not be eligible for, right? So that we we want to let you know if you're eligible. We want to give you the options if you're eligible. And many times, most folks don't even know that they have a pathway to a green card. So this is why we are offering these absolutely free case evaluations. We're doing that for a limited time, not too much longer. You can reach us by phone to schedule one, 703-348-1663. We're offering them by Zoom or by phone. Okay, so these are the free case evaluations. If you don't qualify for the free case evaluation, we are also offering consultations as well, by phone, in person, or by Zoom. Okay, so no matter where you are in the United States or even outside of the United States, we can help you with your immigration case. So 703-348-1663. I again am Pratibha Agarwal. We help clients. I'm an immigration attorney. We help lots of clients obtain status when they never thought that they could. All right. Moni says, hi, can someone travel domestically with an EAD and travel document with a DUI case? So if the DUI case, right, if you have a conviction, that's actually the most important thing. If this conviction might make you ineligible for whatever visa or status that you have, then I would recommend staying out of the line of sight of ICE or other immigration officials, right? If you theoretically should not have any issues. This is theoretically should not have any issues traveling, but we know now that there are ICE agents in airports, right? If you have a crime on your record, even a charge, this could be a trigger for them to pull you over. So is it 100% safe? No. However, there is a possibility if you do need to travel, if it's an emergency, you might very well not have any problems. There's a possibility that you might not have any. The answer is really that it's unpredictable. But to be on the safe side, if you can avoid the travel, I would avoid the travel. Okay. Thanks so much for that question, Moni. Great. So another question I get is, can I file for VAWA if my spouse never filed a green card petition for me, right? Can I file for a VAWA if my spouse never filed a green card for me? There are some benefits that may require previous petitions. So this is very rare cases, but most of our clients never had their spouse file a green card for them. In fact, not filing that green card or holding that possibility of filing a green card as a carrot is part of the abusive behavior. It's part of the pattern of abuse and extreme cruelty that qualifies them for a VAWA. So often, most of our clients did not have their spouse offer to file a green card, right? They didn't file a green card. But in some cases, our clients had filed with their spouse, the marriage, was abusive, and then perhaps the spouse didn't come to the interview. So the client had to go by themselves. The case might have been denied. We've seen this in several cases as well. So those folks usually come to us and see if they're able to file on their own. They learn about us just like this on TikTok or Facebook, YouTube or Instagram, right? They're learning about us. They're learning about VAWA as an option for people that have been abused. And then they reach out to us to see if they might be eligible. And if they're eligible, we prepare their VAWA application, we do some intakes with them, gather all of their facts and their documents, and we move forward with the VAWA filing, which prevents them from being removed from the US if their adjustment of status is still pending. We can ask the government to hold their adjustment of status application until the VAWA is approved. Okay? Give us a call if we can help you determine whether you're eligible for VAWA or other humanitarian options. You can reach us to schedule a consultation at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. These absolutely free case evaluations are, about 30 minutes or so. We will ask you questions about your immigration history. We give you information that's specific to you. We will walk you through the process of whatever you might be eligible for. It could be a VAWA, a T visa, a U visa. If you are eligible, we will let you know. We'll walk you through the whole process. and talk to you about what's required to work with our firm. Okay? And of course, answer any other questions you might have as well. You can reach me again at 703-348-1663. Brown says, how long does it take a 360 approved VAWA? So I think your question is, how long does it take to have a VAWA approved? So VAWA is actually taking quite a long time right now. I'm going to say about 4 years, right? 3.5 to 4 years. We've had some VAWAs approved very, very quickly. We've been able to get them expedited if they do qualify. Not every case will qualify for an expedite, so keep that in mind. If you do qualify for an expedite, it might make your case go a lot faster. We've been successful in having one of our clients have their VAWA petition approved in about 6 months or so. We've had other fast ones that are about 10 months, but on average, they're taking about 4 years, so 3.5 to 4 years, sometimes even longer than that. But really, what we like to say and what we like to remind everyone is, a slow yes is better than a fast no, right? So hang tight. If you already have work authorization, your 485 is pending, you are in a great place. So having that VAWA approved would be great, but rushing or feeling stressed and anxious constantly about the VAWA approval does not help. Okay. All right. What is a petty offense exception for immigration? That's a great question. So usually if it's your first crime, that can kind of be forgiven, right? There are a lot of aspects to the petty offense exception. Only certain crimes will qualify. The sentence that you are given is also part of the calculation of whether it qualifies for something like the petty offense exception. But basically, if you get charged with something, if you get convicted of that thing, it's your first offense, and it's you don't have a long sentence on it, whether it's time served or a suspended sentence, like both of them count the same for immigration, then you might be able to qualify for a petty offense exception. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you do have some criminal history, you might still be eligible for immigration benefits. All right, give us a call, 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. Does my abuser have to be a U.S. citizen for me to qualify for a VAWA? Does my abuser have to be a U.S. citizen for me to qualify for a VAWA? Your abuser can be usually a green card holder or a U.S. citizen in order to qualify for a VAWA. So many types of VAWA relationships can exist to make somebody eligible for a VAWA. So if your child is a U.S. citizen, you're a parent of a U.S. citizen child, 21 or over, you might be able to qualify for a VAWA if you meet all the other eligibility requirements. If you are a child of a green card holder or you're a child of a U.S. citizen, it's possible for you to also qualify for a VAWA, right? So there are many, and of course, spousal VAWAs, which we've already discussed. If you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you can also potentially apply for a VAWA if you meet the other eligibility requirements. So many relationships can qualify for a VAWA. Okay. Let me see if there's any other questions. If somebody's BIA appeal is pending, can USCIS approve the I-360? So yes. So many applications can run concurrently, right? The very important thing for you to remember is that you're truthful in every application that you file. So if you have conflicting facts or anything like that, that's when it becomes very problematic. But if you are truthful, if the information you provided the government is accurate, and you have two different applications, one might be on appeal at the BIA, you can still have a VAWA approved. Your VAWA can be approved by USCIS. You may, if you are in immigration proceedings, the adjustment of status application has to either be run through EOIR, which is the immigration court, or if you can get that case terminated, you can move forward with the adjustment of status through USCIS. Okay, we've had lots of situations where we've been able to handle that as well. Okay, so if you get approved on a VAWA and you're divorced, do you still qualify for citizenship after 3 years? There are certain requirements for that, so it depends on how long you were married, how long you lived with your abusive spouse. So in some cases, it's 3 years. In some cases, it's 5 years. So it depends on the situation. You have to have lived with your abusive spouse for a certain amount of time. Okay? And your spouse has to be a US citizen, of course. My mom entered with a visa but overstayed. Does she have to travel to Mexico to get her residency? That's a great question, Karen. If your mom, if you are sponsoring your mom, so let's say you're 21 or over and you are sponsoring your mom, she entered with a visa and you are a US citizen, no, she doesn't need to leave the country, right? She does have to prove that at the time that she entered, that she didn't have the intention of overstaying. But you should be able to go through the adjustment of status process. Again, this is general information. I don't know your mom's immigration history. I don't know your immigration status, but generally a person who entered with a visa, if they intended to stay temporarily, but then something happened and they decided to stay in the US permanently, if they have a US citizen child, 21 or over, that's sponsoring them as a parent, then typically they don't leave the country, right? And if you do leave the country, if you've overstayed, for 6 months or more, then meaning you've overstayed beyond your authorized period of stay, so whatever date is on your I-94, which tells you when you have to leave the country. If you've been in the US past that for 6 months or more, then you are triggering some bars to re-entry. So if you leave and if you leave, you'll be barred from re-entering for at least 3 years, or in some cases, 10 years. So if you've overstayed, it's very important you talk to an immigration attorney because you may be barred from re-entering. These are very important things to know. If you are overstaying in the US, someone that has been, if you have family that has been, you can still get status. So often you can still get status, but you have to understand the rules and the requirements so you don't do something that might prevent you from coming back into the US, okay? Give us a call, 703-348-1663. My name again is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney in Washington, D.C. We help our clients all over the country. We would love to chat with you. We are offering absolutely free case evaluations right now. You can call our office to get on our calendar. This is for a limited time. We will not be doing this much longer. 703-348-1663. Call and see if you qualify for an absolutely free case evaluation. We're offering them for certain cases only. So keep that in mind when you call. For certain cases only, just VAWAs, Ts, and Us, U visa. Okay, they're humanitarian options. If you're undocumented, we want to help get you in status. All right? All right, perfect. I think I answered most of the questions. I'm going to encourage you again to follow us and like us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like this, share this with others, right? This is a conversation that's important, especially if you know others that are undocumented, that want to learn about immigration, that maybe just want to have the knowledge so you feel more comfortable on a day-to-day basis. Please join us here. I'll be on as frequently as I can be, and we will talk about all things immigration, answer some questions, provide general information, and hopefully things that are helpful to all of you that are joining me here today. So thank you so much again, and I will see you very soon. Have a great day. Enjoy your week. Make it count. Bye.